Peace. Welcome to the Real HD Show, the higher discussion. I am your host, Vic. Get ready for an hour plus overtime of great information, awareness so you could be fearless of HD higher discussion. I'm here, you're there. This is prime time with the purpose. Don't get nervous. We're going below the epidermis. It's hump day. We're going to get into some interesting things, some interesting developments. We'll talk a little bit about all of the craziness of last night, the woes and what wasn't, to keep you buzzing, cousin. But right now, y'all tap in. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Comment and share the video. Turn on all your notifications so that, like we always say, as soon as we come back on, we can have a higher discussion. We got Sister Aurora already in the background with her engines revving to go. We appreciate the sister always coming through. And we got more we had an excellent show on Monday. We finna have another great show tonight. I got the most intelligent panel in the known universe that specializes in the good, the bad, the ugly of our people. And we do that. How do we solve the good, the bad, the ugly of our people? With freedom music. Freedom music moment happens when you hit the link below, StreamYard.com. UR7Y7 GZ6C9. And you can come backstage with me and we can jam. We could throw on all the soulful stuff, all of the motivating hip hop, all of the soul hop, all of the great R&B, all of the classic, even music from the diaspora. We might play some Fela Kuti. We might play some, Bandy. We might go hardcore on you in a lot of ways that you're not even expected, but it's all about the freedom, justice, and liberation of our people. Join us backstage, 7:30 to 8 o'clock, so we don't get copyright strikes on the major bozo networks. We are the Real HD Show. So make sure you tune in. Total Package Energy, melanated company, athlete tested, people approved, all natural product. Please go to their website, Cash Mob, their website. Tell them the Real HD Show sent you. They got zips, powders, waters, juices, teas, everything to get that 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock crash off your back. I know a lot of us have a part 2 to our work day, a part 2 to the things that we do for our people and ourselves and our families. Total Package Energy. Also, make sure that you bring 5 or more people to the Real HD Show and win a 4-day, 3-night U.S. destination staycation, as they call it, Caribbean also. And that will be courtesy of Redeem Vacations and the Real HD Show. Also, make sure that you support, and make sure you show love to our newest sponsor. That's right, Bats Footwear. Bats Footwear out of the Lou. That's right, the Lou. That's right, NOLA. That NOLA territory. You know what I'm saying? And here's a copy of it. And you know what they've been doing to me, family? I've been showing these Bats Footwear, these Bats sneakers, and they've been, and of course with it comes a little bit of a video, a little song, and I believe it's Gwen Guthrie, Encore. I believe that's the song. And they've been copyright striking my show, man. I can't even show 10 seconds of the eternal classic deserves an encore. Maybe Sister Aurora could correct me on who made that song. I think it was Gwen Guthrie. I'm not sure. Uh, Auntie Asia, don't come and hit me upside the head with a book because I don't remember all my R&B legends. But make sure you guys support Bats Footwear out of New Orleans, out of Louisiana, via Texas, melanated company that's coming out with a dope product. So not only is the product dope, but the way that the sole and the tongue of the shoe is contoured, it's healthy for the feet. So make sure you support Bats Footwear, even your homegirl Ice Spice. That's right. The celebrity herself. That's right. I'm name dropping on a hump day. Ice Spice, the rapper celebrity, endorses uh Bats Footwear. She wants a pair, size 7. Let's go. Support our super duper creative people with what they're doing and their get down, as it were. Real HD show. We name dropping a little bit tonight, but that's okay because it's all about family. It's all about promoting our businesses and promoting our youth and promoting all the good things in the community that our people do on the Real HD show. We already got mad people in the back waiting to come through and waiting to participate to the show. Brother Godspeed is already revving his engines up, ready to go. And no, that's not what we're here for tonight. Let me get the right piece up here. Okay, there we go. Yep, had to get the right show title up here. Tonight we are here for this. All right, here we go. Haunted House, the good old USA home hustle, and live sci-fi portals across the earth. WTF? One World Order? Or nah? But you know what we got to do first, family? What we got to do first is we got to jump into our segments. And tonight we're going to do a mashup, smash up of our segments. We got our elders and ancestors blueprint, but we're going to mix it with our melanated mental health moment. And we're going to feature a dynamic sister and some of the things that she did to bring awareness to melanated people and their mental health. We're going to feature BB Moore Campbell and her enduring legacy of bringing mental health to the people and how she influenced the genre. We're going to get into it right now in our first segment. Peace to everybody that's listening. Peace to everybody that's getting involved. Please share. Each one bring one. Let's get this going. Let's make this the best Real HD show ever. Let's jump into a melanated mental health moment on the Real HD show. BB Moore Campbell. Let's go. Fair use, fair use.
Americans who have contributed to the field of psychology and mental health. Throughout the month of February, we will be sharing the underpublicized accomplishments of these amazing pioneers. To date, their work continues to impact the field of psychology. True Outreach is committed to bringing mental health and wellness services to anyone who may be in need. Please visit us at www.trueoutreach.org for more information about our services. And thank you for celebrating with us at True Outreach.
All right, so that was a little bit about BB Moore Campbell and the other doctor. We're going to get into her resume right now. Let's give me a second, family, to bring that up. I didn't see the rest of the video, family. I apologize. Let's see what she did for mental health. Let's put it up right now for the family so they could digest. Sister Aurora, did peace and blessings to you. I know at your bookstore, did you sell any of BB Moore Campbell's work?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, she was fire. She was definitely dope.
Yeah. Yes.
Can you speak to her a little bit while I get her dossier up and we can read a little bit about BB Moore Campbell? Go ahead.
Well, she was a mental health advocate because back in, especially coming across from 1999 to the 2000s, she was featured a lot. I mean, what was good was, the Breakfast Club. They were kind of like really influential in bringing her to the ears of a lot of Black families and listeners, in my opinion. Okay.
Right.
um, but she was really about her mental health. She had mental health issues. Who her daughter was, the girl that played on with LL Cool J and Debbie Allen.
Right. In the house.
Maya
Yep.
Campbell.
Yep.
Yeah, Maya
Mm-hmm.
Campbell. That was her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And
Fine ass Mike Campbell. She was fine.
yes,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
and she also struggled with mental health
Yes. Yes.
issues, which was one of the things that families were brought their attention to, was the how it can be genetic, in terms of certain traits that have for mental health issues. So Bibi kind of brought that out as well. So, that became one of the answering things. Now people started really talking about mental health issues coming, like I said, coming into the 2000s. And that was kind of good because we lost a lot of people who just didn't understand it or weren't understood prior to that time.
Absolutely. So hopefully you guys see this up on your screen. I will lay it out a little broader so you can see it. Recognizing BB Moore Campbell National Mental Health Awareness Month in 2008, Congress passed a resolution that established the month of July as BB Moore Campbell National Mental Health Awareness Month. Fire to her.
Oh, I did not know that.
This month
Mm.
highlights artifact. Well, that particular month. That's a
Mhm.
couple years ago. Um, to improve the access of mental health treatment and services, to address the need for improved access to care, treatment, and services for those diagnosed with severe and persistent mental health disorders, to enhance public awareness of mental health illness amongst melanated people. Let me continue to scroll. Um, let's see, B.B. Moore Campbell, 1950 to 2006, was a Times best-selling author, strong advocate for mental health. Tireless effort to bring public awareness to the mental health stemmed from her personal experiences with a family member. She recognized the unique challenges our people face in addressing the stigma and accessing needed care and treatments. She was one of the founding members of the National Alliance on Mental Health Illness in Los Angeles, established by brothers and sisters, women supporting each other through seemingly insurmountable circumstances. This NAMI affiliate was one of the first with a primary mission of addressing the needs of melanated folks and communities of our people. The that's often underserved and overlooked. Um, Overcoming stigma takes courage and tireless advocacy for oneself and others. Facing mental health disorders can be difficult for the individuals seeking treatments, conflicts with their cultural values or cultural identity. And we can get into that too, because there's a large community of biracial people that suffer with a lot of mental health illness because of identity politics and identity crisis. Strength over silence, stories of courage and culture is a three-part docu-series that explores mental health from the perspective of melanated Black and Latino communities. Through the retelling of their lived experiences, these advocates share their stories, resilience, and recovery. And that was our melanated mental health moment on the Real HD show. Each one teach one, each one reach one, each one bring one. And hopefully we could be better and more progressive moving into the rest of the 21st century. Brother Godspeed, peace and blessings to you. What's going on, man? I know you work in the mental health field, bro. Talk to us a little bit about that. And were you aware of so much of the work that Sister BB Moore Campbell did? And I know she was a hell of a writer and a hell of a orator, and she got her hands in so many things. Her and her husband. And talk to us a little bit about that if you can.
Yeah, I'm seeing more and more now that there's a lot of unsung heroes coming from our demographic that don't really get enough roses, for their work. So I'll be honest and let you know that I've never heard of the sister until now, but at least now I heard of her. I'll take a little more searching to get more familiar with her material and her legacy, and see what it was that she was getting into, and try to compare it to, the doctors that I deal with and the bigger, corporate system, corporate hospital system. But as far as the mental health field, there's just so many different ranges of, like, as they like to say, modalities and so forth, symptoms and so forth. It's just so much. It's just a whole world onto itself. It's almost like you don't know where to start, But I
Mm.
will say this much, though. Even though it's hard to figure out where to start, there's certain points where you could start. And I would say that some of the points where we could start is the fact that a lot of it has to do with upbringing. A lot of cases, upbringing.
Right.
You keep sparing the rod and spoiling the child. Then you got mass shootings, and then you're looking at a little picket fence mass shooter, and that little picket fence mass shooter, when they sit their little tail down after they capture them or what have you, if they don't shoot them, then it's like, okay, he has mental issues.
Mm.
You're right. Your father
Right.
bought you a gun at the age of 14, but now you're going to have mental issues. You know what I mean? Not
Right.
speaking specifically to the recent case, but many other cases. All these
Right.
people got mental issues? You got to be kidding me. What's really lacking is that their parents didn't get a good ass whooping and straightening out when they were young, and then they went to have kids. So it's like the mentally child-minded is now having children. And where they had lack of discipline and a lack of upbringing is even tenfold worse when they're raising their own kid, you know? So now you got kids now you got kids who never learn how to cope. They never learn true coping skills because they never learned that don't touch the fire, it burns. The way they're raised is like, touch the fire and it
Just
don't
the
burn
fire.
because I won't let it burn you.
Mm.
Even if it is burning you, I'm going to tell you it's not burning you. I mean it in a metaphoric sense, but this is a real life situation. A
Right.
lot of kids that I see in the institution, the kids who are like around 11 years of age, between 11 and 17, a lot of them got issues. Okay, I can speak on all their little demographics. You got example one, like I just said, the little picket fence types, right? And then you got the ones that grew up in our neighborhoods too, though, who didn't have proper discipline. Why? Because their parents didn't have proper discipline, and their parents didn't have discipline. When somebody's looking at you and they're like, I don't know, they're 40 years old and they're a grandmother. No disrespect, not saying in every case, but in a lot of those cases, that grandchild is going to be like a potential statistic, more favorable to be a potential statistic. It just works out that way. That's how it is in my system. I see it all the time. But you got a myriad of other things. You got people, experimenting with drugs. They become psychotic that way too. You got people who, they had some form of paranoid schizophrenia, and all they needed was like something to open that gate. And
Mm.
they try a little something hanging out. Next thing you know, like how Len Bias died from it. Well, some of them just go psychotic from it. They
Mm.
try a little K2. Next thing you know, they're never the same after that. I think K2 is the worst thing that hit us since 80s crack, to be honest with you. The worst thing. A lot of patients I come in to encounter with, a lot of them use K2,
Mm.
a lot of them. Sometimes, look, they're in certain institutions where the curfew and the rules and regulations of the psych ward clinics there, another is patrolled a lot, not as properly secured. And guess what? When they get outside and they go on the grounds, they're smoking their little K2, and then they get back on grounds. And
Mm.
and the thing is that when one hospital can't manage a few cases, for say, those cases go to other hospitals.
Right.
Because if they can't correct their medicines right, then you're going to get, okay, so private institutions like mine will get people from, say, state hospital. Why? Because for some reason, state hospital couldn't correct the medications to adjust to their condition. It just got worse. Why? Because now they're using K2. So, it's a whole lot of stuff under there, man. It's like, yeah, we got cutters, we got suicidal people who are in suicidal watch. You got so many different diverse different backgrounds. You got people that are truly, like chemically imbalanced, and they're like your classic, what I like to call nurse patients, the ones
Mm.
that you dream about helping. I had a couple of cases like that in my family tree. They were the types that you dream about helping, you know. But then you have the ones that I say you really get up in the morning and you're like, oh, I hope one of those are not there. And those are the ones that's trying to dodge the system. They do something stupid, some knife wielding hooligan, you know what I mean, that don't know how to settle nothing with their fists. They get caught out there doing it. Next thing you know, either A, they had some little record in the past that was stating that they had some kind of psychotic feature somewhere when they were a kid. So they bring them back to the hospital. Why? Because guess what? The police like bringing them to the ERs because they know it's no paperwork for them when they go back to work. When those type of individuals should have been ran in, and spend a little time behind bars and get seen by somebody behind bars because they did something that's worthy of that. But
Mm.
because toot, 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 you type their little names in the computers, next thing you know, the little dashboard computer pops up. Oh yeah, 8 years old, psych ward clinic at Zucker. Oh yeah, bring them back there. There we go. Now we getting someone who's not really, for say, all right, cool. People who do certain things are sick in a certain sense, but not sick like chemically imbalanced sick, not truly clinically sick that way. Almost sick like a slang word sick. Oh, that's sick. He's depraved. She's depraved. But they
Right.
really know what they're doing. They're cognizant. They know what they're doing. So we got all kinds of cases, all kinds. And I'm gonna tell you something else. And you know what? The late great Dr. Sebi. I remember one time we were in Brooklyn, right, to show you what he was doing with mental health. So he had a long line of people, and everybody would come up and ask him questions or say they had an experience with him and how good it worked out for them. So this mother and this daughter got online, and when they got to the microphone, the first thing the mother does is, your stuff didn't work for my daughter. Now, Dr. Sebi did not flinch. His facial expression did not change. He looked right at them and listened to them, like he was a psychologist, right? And he goes like this: "Okay, I hear you, ma'am." He says, "Let me ask you something, ma'am. When you first used the stuff I prescribed you, the herbs, how was your daughter?" "Well, she was well." "Ma'am, how was she when she stopped?" "Things went back, and she wasn't good anymore." He says, "I rest my case," and the whole crowd just looked at her like she had three heads on one neck.
Right. Right.
But, but
Right.
and with that, I would say this: yeah, there's some herbs that could probably help these situations, like his did. He proved it. The woman agreed to it, right? But the thing is that the one thing I haven't seen yet in the herbal field, in the holistic health field, I should say, is the one hitter sit you down. Meaning like something that could sit somebody down in a moment of crisis
Mm.
when they are completely going bonkers berserk. I'm talking about standing still in one spot, looking at you, staring at you, and sweating without moving type of emergency. Because what comes behind that is a lot of violence.
Mm.
I haven't seen any herbal doctor, and you know what? If one is out there and they're watching this show, please raise your hand if you did it. And I would say, okay, then I'm wrong. But I haven't seen one yet that could put together a herbal concoction that will sit somebody down.
Mm.
Only Eurocentric medical drugs I've seen do that. You know. So with that said, there's a whole wide range out there, man. And it's like there's plenty of times I would tell folks, hey, look, you feeling like side effects and this and that, because the men have certain concerns with their side effects.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like
Mm-hmm.
they become impotent. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll pull them to the side off the record and just say, hey, look, off the record, you get a little bit of zinc, L-carnitine, these sort of things. It'll help you, while you take your medications. You know what I mean? Because a
Right.
lot of times that's the only complaint. A lot of
Mm.
times, not all the time. There's other complaints, depending. But a lot of times that's the complaint. So you can
Right.
solve that problem. You may be in the process of helping somebody become a little more balanced.
Correct.
But it's a wide
So
range, bro.
yeah, man, it is a wide range. Let me ask Sister Aurora this. Do you think that BB Moore Campbell and others like her can make more of a difference in the mental health field with writing and with the, advent of books, and now that more books are on like tablets and computers, and we have the advent of the cell phone and the Apple Watch, and all of the different ways of visually communicating and visually exploring those particular avenues. Do you think that more mental health writers of the fiction genre can use their experiences as valuable tools, like BB Moore Campbell, to help people move the needle in that regard? Oh, you got to unmute yourself.
I said, not only B.B. Campbell, but 95% of authors, writers of fiction book
Mm-hmm.
have a stem of mental illness, and they tell you that sometimes that's the way that their expressiveness can come out. Sometimes
Great
you read
point.
stuff, and
Great point.
there used to be a time where mental health journeys began with giving the patient a pen and a pencil to journal, and
Mm,
write it all out. Sometimes your stream of consciousness comes better at the flow of a pen, and next thing you know, they're writing. But in the same manner, you see, persons who have schizophrenia, they can chart pages all across walls, and
right.
so it's a healing point. But with Bibi Moore Campbell, one of the biggest things that she did in the beginning stages of mental advocacy, and like I said, 1999 coming into 2000, as I turned my attention to NAMI. NAMI is the largest mental illness advocate in the nation. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and it started with, like brother said, like with her and her husband who did a lot. But what was recognized was that she wanted persons of color to know that it is genetic. There are certain traits that make mental health, or certain mental illnesses flow in the family.
Mm,
You'll always hear someone say, "Oh, yeah, well, so and so was bipolar, and so was this person, this one," or different things where we at one time didn't know what those names meant. you
right.
know, we did not know, what when someone would sit there and have barbecue. I know even like from a young age, and you would hear, your aunts and uncles calling each other, "You schizo," or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but it was always because the family knew something wasn't right, but they also created coping mechanisms for their loved one. And this the first, and the family would be the first one to sit there and say, "Okay, okay, okay, have you taken your meds, or have you drank this tea," or whatever it was, when someone starts ticking and you can see that they're getting ready to spiral. So with Bibi, Moore Campbell and NAMI across the nation, first the best thing, they started giving free health advice,
Right.
helping the advocacy for your benefits that you may have down at work. Remember, it used to not include psychological visits. You get 26 of them, okay? And they sit there and allow for mental health issues or mental health awarenesses to be not only in the benefits that people have now with their HR departments, but also in schools. They made sure that there were certain type of psychologists or social workers with certain degrees to help persons cope or understand mental illness. So there's a lot that spurred out of there. And remember, you really didn't hear conversations about mental health in the household prior to that. Like
Yeah.
1999, you didn't hear, it
Absolutely.
wasn't a regular conversation. And when you knew
Absolutely.
your uncle or cousin who was said to have mental illnesses, you could, people knew what they call them. Yeah, they go, so and so is doing this. So, it's great that awareness comes. I just want to even shout out Charlemagne, on the breakfast, he went into doing mental health awareness for, especially for our communities, to where they travel state to state, having these great fairs and bringing across psychologists and therapists and you know um, for, psychiatrists and things like that. And it's there's a need, there's a need,
Right.
because you
And,
really
and
have.
and let's not forget the powerful work by Dr. Frances Cress Wilson
That's right.
and her diagnosis of what the family is going through with the post traumatic slave disorder or
As we go slave, yeah.
stress disorder, and how that has, as a bio-cotyron event, meaning biology, culture, environment, impacting the health and the progressiveness of our people over time. And she's one of the very ones to coin the phrase PTSD. And I appreciate sisters like her, sisters like BB Moore Campbell, for taking up the mantle and talking about the uncomfortable things that. And also the philosopher Carl Jung, he talked about mental illness as a hereditary trait, like you mentioned. So,
Yes.
like, brother Luck, if singing runs in the family and playing great piano runs in the family, and if so and so is a good cook, so now you have an affinity to be a cook, but then life has duality and the negative things come with it too. You know what I mean? Those bio-cotyron traits get passed down through
Hmm.
biology, culture, environment, just as well. Man, this show is moving. It's almost a half hour in. We got to get to our AAT report, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wiser for a brand new you. It's going to be a short one. This brother Macca be in the building again with his, creative self, giving us stuff that we can do to be healthy, wealthier, and wiser. Um, Food is also a great thing that we can do to maintain our mental health. You know what I mean? And we know that because if that salt is up, if that sugar is up, then we ain't gonna be quite right. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna be acting right. We're not gonna be responding to people in a healthy way, so on and so forth. So let's talk. Let's say what Brother Maccabee has to say about oil oregano right here on the Real HD Show. Check it out. Fair use.
Nutritional gems I'm popping. Today it's oregano that I'm dropping. More than just pizza topping. Oregano. Yes, you know that. The leaves flavor the food in the pot. And you see the oil, yes, the extract. Amazing properties. It has got the carvacrol and the thymol. Antifungal, antiviral, antioxidants for the free radical, anti-inflammatory, beneficial. The Greek well-crafted one, that is proper. I try to get the best, I'm a careful shopper. 100% of that in a me dropper. Antibiotic bacteria stopper. As I said, you don't need a lot. All you need is a few drop. Don't overdo it. You better not, or your lips get hot, hot, hot. Cause it's strong, may I tell you the truth. So you know that it have to dilute. In a oil or drops in a water, even one drop could be a starter. Pain reliever, help you to a fungus. A lot of medical herbs are among us. Get them on your radar and your compass. The benefits are humongous. A medical Monday, yes I am.
Yes, sires and our sisters.
Wonderful.
We That's our AAT report, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wiser. Maccabee, thanks that brother, man. That brother's brilliant. Thank you for letting us use your videos on the show. Please go to Maccabee's YouTube channel. Give him a like, give him a subscribe, give him a thumbs up. Support the channel. He's got many, many videos. I've played a lot of them on my show so far. We love to support our people. So shout out to the Brooklynite. Shout out to the Rasta Maccabee. Always dropping great stuff. Oregano oil. What say you brothers and sisters on the show, my great panel? You guys got any experience with it? Because I do. Stuff is powerful.
I was about to show you mine.
Oh, let's go. Put it up here. Let's
Right now,
go.
so I got it in
Fire.
capsule form at this juncture, but I had it in the tincture as well. And I will say that what it's good for is getting rid of like if you have what you call it, if you have an over influx of yeast in your system,
Mm.
If you have an overinflux of yeast in the system, that is one of the things that can help get rid of it.
Yes.
That and yarrow is another thing that you could combine with it, right? Those are antifungals. You know,
Yes.
the funguses. It creates an uncomfortable environment in your digestive tract when you put these things into your system, because things like yeast, it likes damp, cold terrains to fester and grow, outside of the yeast in the bread, and they make the bread looking all fluffy. That's because there's too much yeast in the bread. Also, like in bagels are all thick and whatnot. Is because there's too much yeast in the bagel dough. But the yeast, why it's so important to have things like yarrow and the oil and everything, is because we get so much yeast and so many different byproducts, along with the yeast that's naturally needed by the body to operate with certain functions, that
Right.
it becomes too much of an influx, and then that is what could clog your hair follicles from growing, and people start thinking, oh, it's in my family, it's hereditary to just go bald. Not in all families and not in all situations. And if you want to push the argument further, yeah, I'm mighty sure somebody could find the root of an argument that you don't have to go through all of that at all if you were a certain level of discipline with your intake. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because what they say is like hereditary in the family when it comes to like, some kind of like I guess some kind of disease, etc. It's normally the bad diet that's really the what runs in the family, not that symptom, but the bad diet that causes the symptom, right? And we know there's other things out there that can help cause some of these things, not to always put it on what's on your plate, but a lot of it is what you put on your plate.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
really part of their warfare on the people. And now when I say the people, I mean all people, because
Hmm.
we all buy these breads that got soy in it, that got yeast in it, things that you don't even use at home when you make your own bread at
Right.
home.
Lecithin, all that stuff. Yep.
That's the thing, all that stuff. I mean, I got a collection of a whole selection here of stuff. You know what I mean? You know.
Collection of a selection. I love it. No doubt. No doubt. All right, man. You are watching the Real HD show. Sister Aurora, any experience with oregano oil and using it or combining it with other things? I combine it sometimes. It's great when you mix that with a little lemon in the hot water. Does wonders for the body. Do you have any experience with it? Because I know you have your people. You told us before that your people had a lot of homeopathic remedies that they used to mess with.
Yes. Yes, and so even I mean that's why you see those big old things of oregano in the cabinets. People are
Hmm.
like, how many times do you use it? And unfortunately, like we're allergic to citrus, so we can't use lemons and oranges and things. But we then substitute a lot of mint. The fresh mint. If you ever just want to throw some in, and you don't even have to boil it, you can just make sunshine mint tea and things like that, which we still do, which we still do. So a lot of the spices, like I said, coming up, that's how my dad kept us at bay as asthmatics. And, people yell at them, oh, they need to have this. And he's like, well, he goes, they're outside breathing, okay, from what I give them, you know.
Right.
And so him and my grandmother were really big on homeopathic, ways to cure folk.
Absolutely. So that was our AAT report. Happy, wealthier, wiser, healthier, wealthier, wiser for a brand new you, because we need cell power. Let me play the outro. All right. So I want to get into something else. I want to get into our lit city report, and the reason why it's a lit city report is our healthy, wealthy, and wiser for a brand new you. I'm sorry, wrong. That's the wild, the wacky, the wonderful things that make our world go round. Sometimes we need a lift when we're talking about all these crazy things that go on in our world, in our culture, amongst our folks, amongst our families. and we need a little bit of a lift. And I don't know how much of a lift it is, but we're gonna honor these people tonight because these brothers, these two in particular, and I think y'all know who I'm talking about. They are on their king's journey, join the ancestors just this week, and we want to give them their roses for the dynamic things that they've done throughout their life and their legacy. And I can honestly tell you that if these people were not giants within our people and spent their life given to our folks and making our lives better through art, we would not be where we are and what we are, leading the world in culture, leading the world in what matters. So, this is the first brother I want to put up. Hopefully, I have the picture big enough so everybody can see it. If not, I'll resize it. R.I.P. to brother Frankie Beverly,
Absolutely.
leader of the band Frankie Beverly and Mays. He gave us so many anthems and classics and things that made us live and love and be great and better people. Joy and pain, happy feelings. Oh my gosh! Before I let go. Oh my gosh! So many hits, man. Just hit after hit after hit after hit. And the brother lived a really long life and suffered with bouts of strokes and medical ailments. But love this brother. There wouldn't be a family function without playing one of his records.
That's right.
All right. When you used to go to the club, Brother Luck, and it was time to go home, before I let go, playing in the club.
Word.
At every family barbecue, every family reunion,
Before
I let go, was playing.
Go.
Man, was that not the soundtrack of our lives?
No,
So
definitely. We are one.
Oh, we are one.
Classic.
Let's talk about it.
Classic.
Come on. So many great things that brother contributed to our people. And you know what was dope about him, man? He kept performing even though he lost his voice.
Yeah.
Wow.
He stayed as an older man,
summer.
lost his voice like Maurice White of Earth, Wind and Fire, but stayed on that stage. And every summer, you could find him at a festival, a concert near you, bringing happy feelings to the people. Sister Aurora, give us a little taste of what Frankie Beverly and Mays, but the legacy of Frankie Beverly and what that meant to you as a young lady growing up. And
well, that was always the feel good music.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm not ashamed to say I graduated high school in 1980, and so when you heard, that little year for college, Before I Let Go, please, and then when you were conscious, so you had the We Are One playing at CW Post. Shout out Long Island University.
Hey, shout out to Post, no doubt. Hey, that's my old stomping grounds too. I used to be in and out of Post like crazy. But go ahead.
Okay, yes, I graduated from there.
Dope. Shout out to the LIU education system. Good people come out of that.
And so when I hear that, and just like as we were talking, we reminded of my first years going into college. As a I was a 16-year-old freshman, so it just meant so much more to me in terms of discovering and just loving everything about that era of the 80s and things like that.
Yes,
so it was really you hit it on a. Not a picnic or family barbecue, please. That song is definitely on there. And
it ain't going nowhere. Listen, just because he passed away, don't mean that good music ain't going nowhere.
That music is going to be here to stay. I had played it earlier.
Yes,
I said,
it better.
that is ironic. I said iconic. I said this is that music will live on for a lifetime, so his name will also follow. Because. It's you hear the little kids that you have now, your niece's children's children,
Right.
they all know it because they've been around it. And so Frankie Beverly has always meant really good feelings,
Yes.
really
Yes.
good feelings. He played for families. He played for everyone, You didn't have to sit there and worry about, censoring any of his records, It was easy to get a Frankie Beverly record from your parents, when I was growing up. It was like,
Oh
okay,
yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah.
yeah, we can get that. We can get
Oh
that.
yeah. You know how many
You know.
Frankie Beverly CDs I done scratched up?
Oh, dude,
I
I'm
done
a,
broke them
I'm
things.
a,
And you know what was dope? He was on every radio stations.
Jeffrey.
Like what do you call that?
Dude,
You know when they play the slow jams? He was on everybody's
yeah,
radio station
yep,
slow jam playlist.
yep,
Just over and over and over. And you
yep.
know what was dope about him? He didn't have the acclaim of a Michael Jackson, but he had the impact of a Michael Jackson. He didn't
Exactly.
have
That's right.
he didn't have the fanfare of a Prince, but he had the impact of a Prince. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have the fanfare of a Diana Ross or a Beyonce, but damn if they didn't look up to that man and wanna. That's why she remixed the song. It was so etched in her upbringing that that's probably something she always wanted to do. She did justice to the song.
Right.
Everybody
And
had
she
that.
has that interview that was great with him. Oh,
Right. Oh,
know?
Brother Luck on Questlove Supreme's podcast, right? On YouTube. He has a dope interview with Frankie Beverly. So y'all go check out Questlove Supreme on YouTube. Go check out his interview with Frankie Beverly. It is out of control. It is so dope. And while you at it, check out his interview with Robert Townsend as well. Like, so many dope. Check out Mob Frankie Beverly, Mob Questlove Supreme. But better yet, go buy 10 Frankie Beverly records right now. Support his estate, support his family, support his people, because I'm sure that as much as that brother traveled and did concerts and festivals all over the place, that had to put a strain on his family life. That had to put a strain on
and he wasn't bringing
loved ones.
Stadium kind of dollars. He didn't really care about that. He liked those family venues. He liked those outdoor because he used to come to Jones Beach, and not only did he play in the Kia Theater, but one year he surprised everyone and came over to the bandstand on Park and Field 4. And and when they started playing, I don't care where you were on that beach, you headed to that little band.
Yes.
And everybody had, it was the greatest day. I mean, the kids were even running. They knew, they knew who it was. So
I can remember going to Jones Beach Amphitheater, and I remember him and George Clinton were on stage together. I remember
God.
It was Lauryn Hill, it was The Roots, it was Outkast, it was Frankie Beverly and Mays and George Clinton. Now everybody know how George Clinton gives the crazy show. Brother Left attest to this. Crazy. Frankie Beverly and Mays came on before George Clinton. George Clinton came back on and ordered everyone out of their seat and get on their feet to give Frankie Beverly and Mays an encore.
Wow.
And he took the 15 minutes to bring the whole band back out and said, Joe, I can't follow this brother. This brother is fantastic. I can't even do it. I can't even follow this brother. So what happened was Frankie Beverly and Mays and George Clinton did the set together. I was like,
wow.
I was going crazy. So you talk about George Clinton and Mays on the same stage, killing it. Frankie Beverly is next to George Clinton doing it. Man, it didn't get no better than that. Priceless stuff. Lauryn Hill came out, joined them. It was wild. It was wild. It was like a moment etched in time. Brother Luck, Brother Godspeed, talk to us about Frankie Beverly, what he meant to you, what he, the impressions he left on your life, and then we're gonna get into our other brother that we got to talk about that made his King's journey home as well.
Well, with Frankie Beverly, I mean, I could just reference that classic. I might have heard a bunch of his other records and didn't know it was him, but that classic, talking about that one right there.
Before I Let Go.
A lot of fond memories, man.
Joy and Pain. So many.
Wait. He was Joy and Pain?
Joy and Pain.
Back in Stride.
Back in stride, back
Yeah.
in stride again. Yeah,
Yep. We are one
yeah.
Yeah.
part one.
So
We are one. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh,
yeah,
we are
those
one.
are like SOB Soul Kitchen classics.
Yes, yes.
Exactly.
We are one, and that's the way it is.
Yes.
And you know
Okay.
what was so dope about this brother here, man? You felt it was organic.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
You know how with some people who claim to be liberators of our people, it come off like they not really organic.
Mm-hmm.
If it always felt organic with this brother, it always felt like it was needed,
Yeah.
like it was right. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Mhm.
And like you had to like, you want to talk about thugs, you want to talk about drug dealers stopping what they
Mhm.
doing to jam the Frankie Beverly, hoods
That's
on the
fact.
block stopping what they doing to
That's
dance
fact.
with their grandmother because Frankie Beverly
Yep.
came on.
Because thank
Let's
you.
talk about it. Come
You
on,
always see that.
come
Elder
on,
That's
twirling the
fact.
bro,
little one around. The little one
That's
man.
know
fact.
the words too. Before I let go. You
Oh
know,
my gosh, so much.
they be quiet.
Man, so many, man. Don't be in a roller skating rink with that song
Oh,
coming on.
please.
It's
Oh,
going down.
please. Oh,
It's
please.
going down. Shout out to the Fever in the Bronx, man. It's
In
going
the
down.
Empire.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Frankie Beverly. May your king's journey home be restful, brother. You put it down for us. We won't
Salute.
forget you. We won't
Yeah.
forget you. So the
Creative.
next brother who made his king's journey home just recently, I know I'm being a little long with this, but these brothers deserve it, man. These
Go
brothers
for it, man.
deserve it, man.
Why not? Go for
This
it.
next brother who made his king's journey home. Where is that picture? And I'm talking about
James.
none other than brother James Earl
James Earl
Jones.
Jones.
No doubt.
Yes.
No
James
doubt.
Earl Jones.
Yes.
No
James
doubt.
That's a
Earl
man's man
Jones.
inside.
You
One of the
know,
greatest voices of all time.
Jimmy lived a long life, as they call him. You know,
93.
my uncle was a
Yep.
Jimmy. My grandfather was a Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Them
Mm.
Jimmys do some good things, man. Them Jimmys do some dynamic things
Yes.
for the people, for their families, man. They put it down, man. They great individuals.
Mhm.
Remembering James Earl Jones' most iconic roles from Star Wars to The Lion King. And the reason why I titled it that the Kings are making their journey home and back to the ancestral plane is because no one played more of a majestic presence in the
Yeah.
realm of film than brother James Earl Jones.
Yes.
I mean, from Mufasa to Darth
Mhm.
Vader to,
Coming to
man,
America.
Coming to America. I'm trying to get the picture up of all his roles. I have it somewhere.
Mhm.
All right, here it
Was
is.
it that boxer, Jack Johnson?
Yeah, he played Jack Johnson in The Great White Height.
And the
I
great,
forgot.
yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that he did that for
That
sure.
was
Yeah,
powerful.
let me move this up and let me create a ticker so you guys can see. Okay, it didn't do too much. He was even on The Simpsons. That brother put it down, man.
Uh-huh.
That brother put it down.
All right.
The Sandlot, Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner.
Yep.
Bro, Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins,
Yes.
Conan the Barbarian.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, y'all
Fences.
talk to us about James Earl Jones, man. Let us know, what did James Earl Jones, the king actor himself, mean to you and to, dignity for our people, especially if you wanted to see a brother be in his proper persona and command screen. You looked at James Earl Jones. Talk to us.
Yeah, no, James Earl Jones, man. You said it all there in a nutshell, AJ. To be, Vic. To be honest with you,
Uh-huh.
that's a nutshell. That's a nutshell. I can say more. I mean, look, one thing I'll say is this, just to kind of further emphasize what you're saying about him. He was royal in every single role that he took. James Earl
Yes.
Jones was the type of actor that you can make him play a vagrant, and that vagrant is gonna have some kind of pride,
Mhm.
some kind of like,
Exactly.
some kind of
Yeah.
thing about him. You know what I mean? Like royalty. Like a real royal vagrant. He could play any role, but every role is gonna have some kind of like, you're gonna be proud of the work that he does. He's not the type
Yep.
of actor that's gonna get shot in the buttocks in the middle of a movie. He's not that type of actor.
He wouldn't take the role.
Yeah, he took very good commanding roles, and considering the times that he did it in, that is an that goes without saying. It's an accomplishment. He's like Sidney Poitier in his own right. You know what I
Yes.
mean? He's in
Mm-hmm.
that elk, that echelon, that class of actor. You know what I mean? Sidney
Mhm.
Poitier, Harry Belafonte. These type of folks were in the earlier times paving the road for all of paving the road for the Denzel Washingtons and the Samuel Jacksons and the Wesley Snipes and
Mhm.
just so many other
Denzel
Angela
Washington's. Yep.
Bassett, the
Yep.
Angela
Mhm.
Bassett's,
Yep.
the Halle Berrys,
Oh.
just
Oh,
yep.
I forgot about Claudine.
Yes. Well, that's what one I was going to say. The most iconic movie that really
Mm,
showed everyone. I mean, not only as him as being such a kingly garbage man, you
mm,
know, it
mm,
just really brought out what is this? This is what a man, for
mm,
especially for those times where,
mhm,
the government's whole plot was never to restore the family; it's always to keep them apart, you
mm,
know.
mm.
And James Earl Jones came and just and Diana Carroll,
Mm-hmm.
shout out to the Queen as well. They
Oh,
shut it down about welfare
take the
parents,
hat
about
off
the
to her.
welfare system,
The whole welfare,
about
the whole welfare
whole
era.
welfare
Yes,
era.
they
They
showed the hypocrisy of the
yes,
welfare era. Absolutely.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, and
That
I
movie
thought
was
that was
powerful. I
brilliant.
always thought they should have did more roles together. They had a great
Yeah,
chemistry.
they had really great chemistry.
Great chemistry together. Great
Mhm,
white hype. Field of
mhm.
Dreams.
But him and Madge Sinclair, because remember
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
was in Lion King, and she was in Coming to America, and she was in the she was part of the Jack Jones story where the woman that he didn't go with, but
Mm.
um yeah, but they had a really great chemistry, really great chemistry.
Absolutely.
My first
My
experience,
son
my
works.
first experience with him was Luke. I am your father.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
My
yes.
first experience. My first experience. Not
Hey,
knowing
check
that
him
that
out.
was him.
Hey, bathe him thoroughly.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yo,
Mm.
so many, man. That voice, that inflection, that presence.
That, oh,
Oh,
very strong.
Even in Conan the Barbarian, that
Oh yeah,
movie, he had a
yes.
great scenes in that
That,
movie where
yeah,
Arnold Schwarzenegger was a baby and he carried that movie actually. If it
yeah.
wasn't for him in the movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger with his little,
This is
accent.
Rudimentary acting skills.
Yeah, with the accent, he was buff and
yeah.
everything. But if it wasn't for James Earl Jones putting it down,
Yeah. Made that
different
movie
movie,
better.
man. Different movie altogether. Darth Vader. What would the Star Wars franchise be without Darth Vader? What the
Hmm.
hell?
It
Lion
wouldn't be.
King,
It wouldn't be.
Mufasa. We are our ancestors. Look to the stars.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Man, you talking about motivating generations of people, man.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Peace and blessings to the brother. He lived a long life. He lived into his 90s, if I'm not mistaken, right?
He's 93.
93.
93. Oh
Yeah.
my
93.
gosh. You're talking about doing so much and living so much of a full life. Even in Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, he was amongst the up and coming of the up and coming. Martin Lawrence, Mike Epps, Monique.
Mm,
Hmm.
Man, what's the
mm.
sister's name that played in The Color Purple, that played his wife?
Yeah.
And
Roscoe Jenkins.
yeah, that was saying that was oh my god,
I can't
not Matt
remember her name.
Sinclair, but the other one.
She
Uh,
played she played in The Color Purple. She was the singer.
I know
Oh, what was her
Avery.
name?
Was it Margaret Avery or the one who
Was it,
plays?
I think it was Avery. I think her name was
Yeah,
no. She played Suge Avery. She played Suge Avery.
right. Margaret is it the actress's name?
Oh,
Margaret Avery or something like that.
it'll come in a minute.
Yeah.
But even amongst all those prominent entertainers and personalities that impact us right now, that are household names. When James
Hmm.
Earl Jones said something, you stopped and you listened. And
Yes.
oh, It was dope. That brother was
Mhm.
dope.
Now you talking about
He's a-
Welcome Home,
right.
Roscoe Jenkins, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let me see. I'm looking at the actors right now because you want.
Yeah, we're talking about the sister who played his wife. I'm trying to remember her name.
Okay, I'm just gonna call some names, right? Because I didn't see that movie.
Margaret Avery. Thank you,
Yeah,
K.
that's
Ron.
what
I
I'm
appreciate
saying.
it.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what I
Appreciate it.
was saying. Margaret Avery.
Margaret Avery. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they had great chemistry. I wish they would
Oh
have
yeah.
done some more things together as, elder black couples, because you don't always
Hmm.
see an example of what elder black couples are supposed to look like.
Not after Ruby
right.
D and Ozzy
Ozzy
Davis.
Davis,
They used to
those were the other
play.
two
They
that
used to really
always showed
play
you how to get
together.
it done. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying?
They,
And they,
Yeah.
they it almost
And-
appeared like they were contracted to be together. And I don't mean that in a
yeah.
funny sense, like marriage, like contracted. You know what I mean? But contracted nonetheless.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey sis, if you want to jump on, the link is right there. You could jump on and just have your what do you call that? Your avatar there. You don't have to show your face. And you could jump in and give your 2 cents about what we're building on, and we talking about Return of the Kings. You know what I'm saying? They with the ancestors right now. And them
Mm-hmm.
brothers, Frankie Beverly and James Earl Jones, made our people glorious in what they did and the way they did it.
Mhm.
Peace and blessings to y'all. You know what I mean? I only hope to be as impactful as they were for our folks. For sure, for sure. All right, man. So we're here tonight for this. And that was a long-winded beginning to the show, but we're almost in hour number 2. Matter of fact, we are in hour number 2. And we're here for this tonight. Haunted House, the old USA Home Hustle, and also live sci-fi portals across the country. Is this the start of the one world order? So there's a lot to unpack there. I don't know if we're going to get to the sci-fi portals of it all tonight, because I want to talk about the haunted house piece, because that's a really deep legacy that we need to like unpack and explore. And it goes back to last episode. We were talking about how inflated property taxes, inflated home appraisal values lead to inflated property taxes that lead to civil forfeiture, and then massive home foreclosures all over the country. So when you have areas like New York that have really super high property taxes, and they like inflate the property value to an astronomical level, then the taxes go up, and when our people can't pay the taxes, we lose our homes. And this is a racket that had been going on since the 1930s and the 1940s with our people, but now it's affecting everybody countrywide. But there's another part to that that's very interesting, right? And Brother Luck, it has to do with Special Order 15 after the Emancipation Proclamation. If you know where I'm coming from, and I know Sister Aurora knows it as well. What were are y'all familiar with Special Order 15 after the Civil War?
I'm not.
Well, y'all heard of it, 40 acres and a mule, right?
Right.
Oh yeah. When you call it by the technical name, yeah, I got lost with the technical name. I ain't gonna hold
That's
you
like calling
up.
somebody government.
But thanks
Call them
for
by their
thanks for
government name. Yeah, I'm
thanks for
giving it to.
edifying me.
And let me put the picture up real quick. Where is it? Let's see. I know I had it. I apologize. Give me a minute to find it. Oh snap! All right, let me go back to my desktop. Pull it up. So Special Order 15 was about 40 acres and a mule, and it was supposed to be what our people were getting after the plight and the sojourn of chattel slavery within the country. Where is that picture? Huh. Because I know I put it. Give me 1 second, folks. What's you guys' impression of General Order 15, as it were, and its impact on our people? And I know we didn't get that the way we were supposed to. That was a set aside that was totally um inflammatory, but it didn't have to
We only
be.
got that. We only got that in the movie theater.
Yeah,
A Spike
fantasy
Lee
world,
joint.
right?
Another Spike Lee joint.
Right. Where is my joint at? I know. Okay.
I think it was. I think it became. How could I say, the multi-generational crutch?
Okay. Talk to us.
I mean, really, like this thing where it's like, yeah, you know, you never gave us our 40 acres and a mule. You know what I mean? And when you
Mm-hmm.
think about it, it's like, you know, like I'll be straight up with you. I don't recall ever truly reading that article. I didn't even know it was Article 15. I didn't know. All I
Well, it
just knew
was.
the
Yeah,
part
it
was
was. It was.
mule.
It was special order
Special order, special field order.
15.
Yeah. And you know what? I read about it somewhat. There were things about what I read that I've forgotten because I hadn't read it over and over.
Yeah.
But I knew that it was a promise that was never, you know, followed through on. You know,
Exactly.
I knew that.
Exactly.
I knew that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't mind being corrected. Didn't a particular general have something to play with that?
Yes.
It was
That's
a
why it
general.
was a. That's why it was a general order. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. Because I
So I
read about it,
found.
but I
So I
forgot
found
the
it.
specifics.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, brother. Finish.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying I read about it, but I forgot the specifics after a while because it's not something that I've read more than maybe twice, honestly. Keeping it
Right.
real.
Nah. That's expected. No. That's not a problem. Um. So
So
here's more of a titling of it,
that was
and
how you
and
give and take it away.
yeah. Hey, peace, sister. How you doing? You could unmute your mic and join the show if you like. Peace. How you doing? Welcome to the Real HD Show. Okay. So if your audio isn't on, maybe you can kind of go out of the show and then come back in the same way you came in, and then sometimes that helps the audio to process a little better. But here is General Order 15. I'll put it a little close, expand it a little bit. So General Order 15 was given was supposed to be doled out to our people as a compensation for slavery, chattel slavery, as it was. President Johnson, after President Lincoln, goes back on his word and does not want to issue General Order 15, which was to give us, or to give the ancestors 40 acres and a mule. So in return for their plight and their sojourn in the chattel slavery era. And what actually happened was they gave the white southern plantationers reparations for their loss of slavery, unfortunately. And it was one of the most diabolical things that ever happened. So instead of getting recompense for the ill-gotten gains of that era of antebellum slavery, they actually gave southern plantationers reparations and paid them for their loss and damages. And of course, no other film was more instrumental in recognizing that than Gone with the Wind. Because you saw when the northern soldiers came in and they were funnying with the women and burning down the fields and burning down the houses. It was kind of a seminal work of its time. They gave set asides. There were some set asides developed for a particular population. So it wasn't just the southern plantationers that did not get that got reparations, but they gave foreigners land grants.
But
from
remember that they got though.
yes,
That was the
from
thing.
the 1870s to right about the 1930s, different set aside foreign populations was given land grants
Hmm.
to go west and settle land. Okay.
Mm.
And in this particular order, at this particular time, um, you had a group that was in Natchez, Mississippi, and they had a terrible ordeal called the Devil's Punch Bowl. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that.
Maybe by something else, but enlighten me. I don't
So
know about that.
in Natchez, Mississippi, 1870s, 1880s, there was a group of emancipated folk who were matriculating their way up the Mississippi line to, free themselves and homestead and create all types of townships and whatnot.
Mm.
And then because the Union soldiers had to be mandated in the South to create that order because of the end of the war, they didn't have food, shelter, clothing, and those people were mass slaughtered in an area called Natchez, Mississippi. They called it the Devil's Punch Bowl, right?
Mm.
And y'all can look that up. A lot of white people like the front, like that never happened, but they killed over 20,000 melanated people because they didn't want to provide for them food, clothing, and shelter. And of course, they couldn't. They didn't want 20,000 black folk homesteading amongst the Mississippi Trail. So now we're gonna get into some other things that are very pivotal about this. But what's interesting about the old home hustle is that when these Germans came to America in the USA in the 1870s, when America itself was going through a bankruptcy, an incorporation, if you will. And we've dealt with that on previous shows also. They had to borrow money from foreign entities because after the Civil War, the nation was bankrupt. Am I on the button with that, Brother Luck?
For all intents purposes, heck yeah.
Yes, sir. So,
Bro.
what Germans did, and I'll read a little bit of this, is they gave them, if they came to America, it says Germans poured into available lands in the center of North American continent, the valleys of Mississippi, Ohio, Missouri rivers, and they began to farming the fertile land around the Great Lakes. By the middle of the 19th century, over half of the German people born in North America lived in this region. Okay, so they created first and second generation families. Later, many Germans would head even farther west to open spaces of Texas and the Dakotas, traveling in wagons to Pennsylvania, became Pennsylvania German farmers, invented to carry their crops in the late 1800s. Germans joined the earliest settlers in the Pacific Northwest in California. So they were allowed, when we were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule, our ancestors, that didn't happen, but they had set aside land grants and home opportunities for German folk. So if anybody could testify, can I get an amen? I don't know if anybody can, but this is an interesting conversation because those home and those land grants should have went to our folks as recompense for chattel slavery, but it did not. And with the Germans. Now, what happened was in the Texas, not the Texas, but in the Kansas area of the country, I'm trying to find that picture. In the Kansas area of the country, the first homicidal family of the nation came out of it.
Is it homicidal?
Homicidal. It was called the Bender family. Is anybody familiar with a term called bleeding Kansas?
No. Hold, I collected something recently and I got to look it over. I just started collecting it. It was some real gruesome cases. I don't know if this is one of them where, it was a situation where like, a white slave master had started, having slaves in her household, and she used to keep them in a particular room upstairs in the house and really truly torture these people really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have to admit, it was my first time really even like hearing stories of it, seeing like people's ideas of what that looked like or whatever. It was terrible, terrible. Like, I mean, something you would think could only be in a movie. Terrible, you know.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that because what wound up happening is that this Bender family that came out of the Kansas area. I'm trying to find the article that I pulled up about it because I had this all ready last show. And then of course, so many things cross my plate as I go from show to show to show that I want to, make you guys aware of, deal with, talk about. Well, anyway, so this Bender family was a family of homicidal maniacs.
Hmm.
And have you guys ever heard of somebody named Rob Zombie? He's a director.
Yes, absolutely.
He created. You guys ever heard of a horror called Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
Leatherface.
Right, Leatherface, exactly. So you got
Mhm.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and what about The Devil's Rejects? Y'all ever heard of that horror movie?
I have, yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. And all of those, and A Night of a Thousand Corpses.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So an entire genre of horror was born in American entertainment off of the exploits of the Bender family.
Oh, wow. Whoa.
Wow.
They
Whoa,
were
whoa.
a German family that was given a land grant in the 1870s.
Hmm.
They came through New York and then they settled into Kansas.
Hmm.
And what they did was they homesteaded the land. They created a farm, blah blah blah. But they were homicidal maniacs, and they must have killed like 30 people, close to 30 people.
Mm.
Wow.
Mm.
And what they did was they would use the blonde their daughter, who was a blonde teenage girl. She was buxom, whatever, just
Hmm.
like the horror movies. And when the travelers would come on buggy or wherever, however they would come up the
Hmm.
road, the girl would lure them in. She would, flirt or, be
Hmm.
playful or whatever, flirt and lure them into the Bender homestead. And they would trap the men in the basement and kill them.
Mm.
And in the basement, they had a wife who was kind of like the maitre d' of the house, so to speak.
Hmm.
And then the husband was like Leatherface. He was crazy. He was because he didn't speak English. The daughter and the mother spoke English. So it's very much like the actual movie. And they got away with all these murders. They had 8 bodies in the house, all men,
Wow.
decapitated, butt naked in the basement, killed, destroyed, and the in their body, the University of Kansas right now is doing an excavation with some students, some archaeology students. And guess what property they're excavating?
The Bender property
The
for
Bender
bodies.
property.
Wow.
And so far, they found 30 bodies on the property.
Wow.
So
Oh,
eight bodies. So
wow.
8 bodies were found in the house.
Mm.
30 were found on the property, and they had a well. And they're digging bodies out of that well too.
Sheesh.
That's that kind of family
Yeah.
bonding. That's the only that barbaricness. And that's the same kind of way that when lynching Saturdays and lynching Sundays came, the whole family, Johnny, little kid, and everybody up there front. So there's a scathing of not all y'all are innocent because this
Hmm.
is the kind and you see when they pull the stories out of the files, most serial killing families don't look like us.
Hmm. Hmm. No, well,
So
that's
you
true.
so you could look in the E Edition Chronicle, and it talks about how Rob Zombie, who was of MTV fame, he
Mhm.
started doing all these horror films featuring the Bender family. But
Mm.
before that, And I'm sure Sister Aurora knows because if you watched any TV growing up, then you heard of these things, right? I'm just trying to get my pictures up. They basically made so here was another picture, and they called it the Bender Inn. So like movies like Psycho,
and
Right.
all of that was modeled after the Bender family.
Wow. Serving up dinner and death for over 130 years.
So what's interesting about this particular one is, and I'll tell you what it has to do with our people in a minute. This is a tourist attraction in Kansas now. So they're making death and disease and being a psychotic, homicidal maniacs a tourist attraction.
Yeah. A cool thing.
Go check out. Come stay in our bed and breakfast and
drink a little root beer, have a little pancake.
Right, and feature our best psychotic people of all time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just that Rob Zombie featured them in Texas Chainsaw Massacre and The Devil's Rejects, so on and so forth. Okay, so I'm trying to find the other areas that I put it in. Let me see, because it might be in this other file. I have all kinds of files. If you see my laptop, you'll be like, "Yo, how do you, brother, you wildin'? You got so much stuff on there." So, so that's The Devil's Rejects right there.
Yes,
that was the son. That was supposed to be Leatherface, but that was their version of a Leatherface. He had a certain name. I forget his name on The Devil's Rejects. And that's the daughter that was responsible for luring the people in. You guys ever saw that like insurance commercial where the kids are running around and they're scared? And then the girl gets the bright idea, let's go in the barn with the chainsaws.
Yeah.
And they all run in the barn and they get killed. The maniac comes out and kills them all.
Car.
Yeah. It was like a Geico commercial or some crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you how much America has made a living off of the prototype of the Bender family. So he talked about a father, you talked about a mother who was psychotic, a father that was horror and psychotic, daughters, children, relatives.
They raised a whole bunch.
Does this crew look familiar to you?
Now they weren't killers.
but they were the prototype. The Bender family was the prototype for the Addams family.
For Addams family?
Yep. For that murderous, Eurocentric craziness. And they made it lovable. Television made it lovable. They were an iconic brand.
Yep.
Let me see if you guys recognize this group. And if you were born in the 60s, 70s, or the 80s, you saw these groups. They made devils and demons and witches lovable. And it was all modeled after the Bender family. And here was another one.
It's the Monsters.
13 they were modeled after the Bender family.
They came after the Bender family? Okay.
Yes. Yes. Hollywood modeled the Addams family. They modeled the Munsters, Devil's Rejects, Texas Chainsaw Massacre after the Bender family.
Wow, brother. Well, you just schooled me tonight.
And then instead of giving the home and land grants to melanated people, they gave it to the Germans from overseas. They had set-asides, land grants. They called it the nation's breadbasket. If you agreed to homestead, turn your land into farmland and give your municipality, tax money and fruit and harvest, you could have this land and you could homestead. And instead of it going to our ancestors and our people, It went to these psychotic people.
Mm-hmm.
And all Hollywood did was make a legacy of it.
Yeah.
Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, that is crazy.
Ain't that crazy? And these
Yeah.
shows went on for decades in
Oh, you know they
rerun and
did.
syndication and Halloween costumes and
It's 4:30. Who's not watching the monsters? Right
right.
after Patty Duke.
Come on. They used to come on after school when you came home
Man,
from
listen,
Yes.
school. And
I was a
Yes.
Monsters fan. I'm not gonna hold you up. I was a
That's
yo.
Monsters
right.
fan.
And then you
I
wonder
was,
how this stuff ever etches its way in the consciousness of the people.
I had to
Mm-hmm.
be at 1313 Mockingbird Lane at 4:30.
Yep.
There you
There
go.
you go.
See, look, look,
You
look,
all
look,
did.
look.
I
It's
know I
burnt
was.
into the head. Look at that.
I know I was. I was
Wow.
probably
Uh-huh.
pushing you out the way
Herman
to get through
Munster
the
and
door.
Lily Munster and
Oh yeah.
come
Oh
on.
Yes.
yeah.
Come
And
on.
and you really want to say Herman
Yeah.
Bender, Lily Bender,
Yeah. Yeah.
Eddie
That,
Bender.
yep. That's where it all came from,
Because
bro.
remember, Lily, their pretty niece thought that she was ugly because she didn't look like the rest of them.
Right.
Marilyn. And then the other one.
Yeah, she was the imperfect one. The first time in that era, Blondie was considered imperfect.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And she would be like, I'm not pretty like the rest of my family.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
Craziness, man. Crazy.
And I know the young folks, I know if you like a millennial or a Z, you might not know about these shows and about the impact that it has, but you know about them horror flicks. You know about Jason. You know about Freddy. You know about, oh my gosh, name it. You know what I'm saying? Name the horror joint. The prototype was the Bender family.
Ain't that something? Wow.
Crazy, man. Crazy
That's
stuff.
crazy.
And I wanted to show you, Brother Luck, something that was really interesting because they were in the Kansas area in the Osage Trail.
Mm.
You know what that's about, right, bro?
The what trail?
The Osage.
Oh, brother, I don't know it by that. Maybe I might know it, but not by that name.
The native trail of the Osage people. That's Trail of Tears, brother.
Oh yeah, I know it as a Trail of Tears. That's why
Trail
I'm
of
talking about the
Tears.
name. I might
Trail
know
of
about
Tears.
something else. The Trail of
Yep.
Tears. That's
Yep.
what I know.
Trail of Tears. Hold on, let me see if I can find this because I had this daggone it. I can't stand when I can't find stuff when I want it. I'll find it. But I'll tell y'all the tale right now. So the Osage Trail was a Trail of Tears that went through Oklahoma, right? And it ended in Kansas.
Correct.
And okay, we got a thing. Subliminal messaging, shaping want to chase you say. Oh yeah, so K-Ron says J.P. Morgan Chase used slaves as collateral for white slave owners. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Let me put that up on the screen so everybody can see it, and I'm gonna show you, great brothers and sisters, what they did on the Osage Trail because it's worth talking about. So these people were on the Osage Trail, and it's called the Kickpo people. Oh yeah, I got it right there. Okay, so I remember. I got where I got it now. I'm gonna put it up in 1 second. So the Kickpo people, the Kickpo natives, were circumvented from Kansas back into Oklahoma. And what happened was when the Bender family was going on their murder spree, Sister Aurora, they got away with killing so many people. Now, you know, back in those times, they still had law and order. They had sheriffs, they had marshals. Shout out to Bass Reeves, the best U.S. Marshal in U.S. history. That brother put it down. He wasn't nobody to play with. Right?
I'm watching this show on Prime Video.
Yeah, please watch his show on I believe it's Peacock or one of those streaming platforms. Yeah. So the Bender family would trap these people in coming into their land in their area, and the Kickpo people were just like the Chickasaw. So, brother, Godspeed knows where I'm going with that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about melanated people who were mixed with native people.
Right.
So what a lot of people are ruminating is that amongst those bodies that they're gonna find, they're gonna find a lot of our old folks laid up in there.
Yeah, sad. Real sad.
Yeah, yeah. And you know why? Is because they got away with this for many, many years.
Yeah.
They got away with this for so many years. And the mother and the daughter actually escaped. The only reason they got caught or they got pressure put on them, the father died and the son died because they were the most violent of the mix. The mother and the daughter used to deal with like poison. That's where they got that old movie Arsenic and Old Lace from.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with that. That's an old school black and white movie. My grandmother used to force me to watch, you know. They would lure people into their house and kill them with poison in their drinks and in their food and throw them in the basement and whatever. You know, just go watch Arsenic and Old Lace. It's an ill movie, but it's one of them old black and white joints. Right? And the Kickpole people was circumventing through the Osage Trail, which was right near Tulsa, Oklahoma. What happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma?
I remember they had destroyed the whole town.
Yeah, they bombed. It was the first time in U.S. history where the Army of the United States of America bombed a territory on its own soil.
Yeah, but the thing they don't tell you is that because that was along the Trail of Tears, there was a huge mixture between the native and the melanated people who are actually there.
Right.
And then as they started getting oil compensation for the oil that was on that land of the Osage Trail, they started forcing people north into Kansas.
Right.
And then when the Kansas racist folks didn't want them, they made them go back down south to Oklahoma. And how many of these people ran into the Bender family?
Oh, wow.
But look at the card.
Wow.
You get a night at the Bender Inn. People always stay longer than they expect.
What a way to say it. What a way to say it.
Crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy stuff.
Serving up dinner and death. They ain't even lying about it.
Wow.
One night stay free of charge, courtesy of the Bender Inn. How about it?
Look at this. Serving up dinner and death for over 130 years.
So just like we were talking about the appraisal inflation and tax inflation leading to civil foreclosure and leading to civil forfeiture of homes, which displaced a lot of us and a lot of our farmers off our lands and a lot of our native folk off our lands. Now we talking about perhaps these people running into the Bender family, and they're making a Hollywood franchise out of that homicidal unit of a family.
Yeah. Ain't that something? That's crazy, man.
It's more than crazy, brother. It's more than crazy. Where is that joint at? Okay, I gotta go to the file. I'm going to my file right now. Okay, here we go. So here's where you can find it. You guys can go on and you guys can check it out. A long time ago, somebody called me xenophobic. Oh, your show's xenophobic. You be talking about gays. Your show's xenophobic. You be talking about this group and that group. So I just decided every time I do a show like that or I bring something up, I'm gonna have receipts. So y'all can use those $1,000 instruments y'all got, computers, phones, tablets, whatever. And y'all could, if y'all don't think I'm lying about the Kickpole people and on the Osage Trail, here it is. 1839, Cherokee Trail of Tears continued, occurring approximately 4,000 deaths along the way. The Kickpole of Kansas removed to Indian territory, and they did that because they didn't want to pay them for the oil that was on their land.
Right.
And then when you come across the Bender family that was in Kansas, and they got their paws on you, it turned into this.
They made a movie concerning these matters about how they were marrying into families and all this kind of stuff. Like what was that called? What was the name of the movie again? Something Moon.
Flowers of a Killer Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was powerful. Yo, watch that movie, man. Flowers of a Killer Moon. Have you seen that yet, Aurora?
No.
Watch that. Powerful stuff.
Yeah, it's a powerful movie.
It's a scary movie.
It talks about Oklahoma. No, did you watch that yet, bro?
I did.
What did you think? Tell me now you go. I'm gonna shut up.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Like, hold on one second. I'm getting back to the screen. Yeah, I mean, I saw the movie once. I saw it in the theater. I made sure to give my money to that, and it was re-enlightening,
Oh yeah.
And also too, there was just so many different issues in it. It's a great movie to watch over again. I was trying to save watching it a second time because I want to watch.
3 hours, but it's worth it. 3 hours.
Yeah,
it's worth 3 hours. It was worth my money, and it's just a myriad of issues, man. Like these people's lack of self-love and self-belief in themselves, where they have to listen. I'm a universal man, but let's just call facts for facts, especially in that time period. For them to go about allowing folks to come in and intermix with their tribe the way they were doing, it just showed a lack of value for themselves and their heritage and the land that they were on, because that's all these people wanted was their property. That's all. These people knew nothing about them. They were like, oh yeah, what's the new hustle? Go marry an Indian woman. That's the new hustle. Let me get Billy Bob. Billy Bob, he ain't that smart, but we could finagle him a little bit. And Billy Bob was DiCaprio's character. Like I'm nicknaming him, but he was the dumb member of the family, the guy that went to war. And no disrespect to veterans, I'm just saying it for what it is in the context of the movie. He's the guy that went to war, and he came back from war as a disenfranchised soldier, pretty much like everybody of his time period. And he had these family members that was trying to get in with the Indian tribe family, and they wanted to use him as a tool because he was a handsome fellow in a certain light. You know what I mean? Especially to like, no disrespect to the Native American sisters that had a low self-esteem of themselves. They figure, any white man's a good-looking white man. You know what I mean? So they just, that charmed them for whatever reasons.
Right.
And there we go. They were getting there, have children with them. So now you're diluting the actual lineage of the tribe, because now you're diluting and you're infiltrating by having children with these women, And the next thing you know, the jukes, as they say in Brooklyn, the jukes go down. And then they start robbing people in various different ways, killing people off. Back to what you were talking about, And the next thing you know, there's nobody to stand in the way of these Anglo-Saxon males that are coming in and taking over everything. Because the men were getting killed off. All kinds of stuff was happening.
So what was important about seeing it was how diabolical they were being. Because Sister Aurora and Sister Karen, am I pronouncing your name right? You can unmute your mic. I was trying to make sure I pronounce your name right. All right. Well, maybe she stepped away. Okay. But is she on? Let me make sure she's on, because sometimes I'll call people and they won't even be on. Let me make sure she's on.
They were in the chat a while ago.
Add to the stage. Okay, you're on the stage now. Am I pronouncing your name right, sis?
Yes, it's Kron.
Kron. Okay. Thank you for joining the show. What was so diabolical about what they were doing in Killers of a Flower Moon was they were the Freemasons of the time. Were getting the soldiers to come home, intermarry with the native women. First of all, they would kill off the men, right? In mob style, they would kill off the men, and then get the white men to intermarry with the native women. And then when they were intermarried with the native women, they would get the men to poison the native women
Yes.
until they died, so that the white men would inherit their
Yeah.
land and their property and
Yeah.
Wow.
their oil and all the money that they got
Yeah.
off of the land that they inherited from the ancestors.
Yes. Yes.
Now, not far from that, also benefiting from the land and the oil and the riches, was our folks in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I would also gather to say that not too far from there, you'd have the Chickasaw, you'd have the Kippo, you'd have the
Mm-hmm.
Cherokee, you'd have all those people that our peoples intermingled with during that time period,
Mm-hmm.
mixed in with that grouping, with those groupings there. So that's the
Indeed.
very rich history that America does not want you to know about. That's why you got people like Ron DeSantis and Trump and all these
Right.
lunkheads trying to hide the books. Because if you
Yeah.
hide the books and you hide the knowledge and you hide the information, then people can't get the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and move accordingly. So when we
Indeed.
say we want reparations, we got more than enough freaking claim. Come on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We got
Yeah. We do.
more than enough claim. But they were so diabolical. They would marry the women and
Yeah.
poison them up so they could
Yep.
steal their inheritance. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. You know what? And you saying that just reminded me more and more of the movie because I only saw it once, and there was just so many layers of stuff going on
Yeah.
in there. I could forget some of those things that I seen it once, and I wasn't gonna watch it again. But also, too, it was just crazy is that they were showing you that it was happening in real time, along with what was going on in Tulsa, Oklahoma,
Yes.
because they had like little scenes of the bombing that was going on over there without
Mhm.
getting into it, but you knew this was happening right over here. So they were just, you know what they were doing? They were just doing a wholesale slaughter, a systematic slaughter of anything successful within the melanated communities. And melanated folks with the straight hair and slanted eyes, and melanated folks with the kinky hair. You know what I'm saying? In all features of
Yeah.
the world. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
it is what it is, and that was a great movie that they put together. I'll give them that. That was a great
Yeah,
movie.
good actors, great actresses.
Yeah.
I think the sister who played the native woman that was married to Leonardo DiCaprio, I think she won an Oscar for a supporting role in the movie. She was real dope.
I think
Um,
she was the first, as they like to say, American Indian who
maybe.
gotten such a prestigious award, from what I understand.
Hey, brother Luck. Hey, brother Godspeed. Did you get to watch Johnny Black Outlaw
No, I haven't.
with Michael Jai
Mm-mm.
White?
No, I didn't get around. I forgot
Oh, you
about it.
gotta watch
Forgot
that.
about it.
Everybody listening right now,
I'm gonna write this down.
go
Mhm.
watch Johnny Black Outlaw with
Johnny
with
Black.
um with Michael Jai White and Anika Noni Rose that was in Dreamgirls, and what was the other one she's famous for? The Disney movie Princess and the Frog.
Mhm.
Anika
And
Noni
playing
Rose.
the cop on Power.
Yeah, Anika Noni Rose is the truth. She's real dope.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And the brother from Black Dynamite is in it. They got a
Mm-hmm.
great cast, but it's
Mm-hmm.
about the Osage Trail again.
Again.
It's
Again.
about the Osage Trail, but that's more like a dramedy more than a straight west. It's built like a spaghetti western,
Mhm.
but it's more about the native influence and the melanated influence on America's townships,
Mm-hmm.
homesteading, all of that. It's so dope, man. It's a real good joint. It's a real good show, real good read. Johnny Outlaw Black and not Johnny Outlaw Black. It's called um Outlaw Johnny Black. That's the name of
Outlaw.
it.
Outlaw.
Outlaw Johnny Black. Hold on, I'll put it up. Let me get out of this screen and I'll get into another one and I'll put up the movie so the people can see it with Michael Jai White. Plus, he's one of my favorite on-screen martial artists.
Mhm.
You
Did
know
I
what I
ever tell
mean?
the story
Love.
that I met that guy?
Yeah, you told me about it, bro. But you could tell the people.
Yeah, I met that brother years back, like back in like 2004 or 5 in Atlantic City at a martial art convention. And he's a very well respected martial artist in the martial art community. All the legends,
Mhm.
they give him his homage and his flowers in person.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Superfoot Wallace was one of his teachers. and even Superfoot Wallace acknowledged him in front of everybody. So he's
Mhm.
a very real individual with the arts, and I rolled up on him twice.
Nice.
The first time, he was, doing some kind of like press kit or whatever,
Mhm.
and he told me to come back. He didn't want me to feel like he was shooing me away, so he told me to come back around. So I came back around, and I looked at him. I shook his hand. Big dude, man. He's a big guy in person. And I looked at him. I said, "Hey, brother, I got an idea for you." He said, "What's that?" Well, I said, "First, let me ask you: Are you gonna do another spawn?" And he said, "No, no, no, I'm not doing that.
Mm.
He don't want to put that suit. He said he don't want to put that suit on. He's not doing that again, right? Just like that, he said, "No, no, no, brother, I'm not doing that again."
Right.
I said, "All right, no doubt." I said, "But I got a better idea for you." I said, "How about Black Panther?" I said, you got Black Panther written all over you, brother. That's your role." And he looked at me. He said,
Right.
that.
Right.
And then
Right.
years and years later, I'm looking on YouTube, right? And seeing how that good brother had passed away.
Yeah, Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, Chadwick. Since Chadwick had passed away, they had these nominees that they wanted to see play the Panther role, and his face was in there. They were talking about him extensively, and I'm just laughing because I was trying to give him the idea like
Mhm.
moons before Chadwick even came around with that. It's just crazy. Good
So
people,
there it
man.
is right there, Sister Aurora. Jill Scott is in it. You'd enjoy it. You'd enjoy it. It's a dramedy. It's like a half comedy,
Uh-huh.
half spaghetti western. It's good. It's good. They got some all-star cast. Anika Noni Rose,
Sunday,
Jill
my
Scott.
Sunday
It's
binging.
dope. It's dope. It's dope. So if you got a rainy Sunday, rainy Saturday, you're trying to get
Uh,
something in, that's a good one to get in. That's a good one to get in.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that
Really
out.
good one.
That's my
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah. For sure.
I
For
probably
sure.
purchased it too. Good people.
Yeah.
I like him down in For
So
Better or For Worse.
yeah, I just wanted to share that with the family. I just wanted to let the family be aware of those things that are popping off with the Osage Trail, the kick pole people, the Cherokee, and how we were disenfranchised by not getting the land grants and the homesteads that we were indebted to get by the US government. We got uh we got a lot of nonsense and a lot of oppression as a result of it. These German folk got the land grants and the set asides, and all they did was create a horror. All they did was become the nation's first homicidal maniac family that became a Hollywood franchise. Their prototype became a Hollywood franchise, and we have our native interests that is aligned with it as well in the area of Oklahoma. And I wanted to, because we were talking about homesteading and the house hustle. So they took opportunity to use the plight and the sojourn of what we were going through with chattel slavery. Um, and they didn't want to give it to us, so they gave it to anybody but us, and ushered an era of homicidal maniacs, racist people into the country
Mhm.
that were foreigners. And every once in a while, you'll see Hollywood revert back to this prototype. If you watch enough movies, if you watch enough TV, you'll see this prototype pop up in some sort of crazy way.
Right.
You know what I
That,
mean? And
yeah, that's deep. Yeah, you enlightened me tonight once again, brother. And that's information I didn't know. Yeah, really
yeah,
enlightened
so
me, man.
y'all could check it out, man. This is called the Bread Bowl. That's the area where I got this information on the German
Mhm.
families getting the home grants. And the one about the kick pole people was the timeline removal of the kick pole people, and they got displaced back into the Trail of Tears and the Oklahoma territories. So you guys can go and check that out, do the knowledge, do the research. On the Real HD show, we just don't talk crap. We want a higher discussion. We want y'all to go back, come on back with the information, add on, or help us be more critical of the information that we do get. Brother Mozzie is very great with that. I wish he would have joined tonight. This would have been a good one for him to be involved with. So shout out to him. I hope all is well. And we're gonna get ready to like sign off because it's definitely that 10 o'clock hour. I know we could do 11 o'clock if we wanted to, because there's so much information. I didn't even get to the portals.
Right.
We'll have to save that till Monday because that's a whole mess of a mess, bro. That's anyway. So we'll get to it. Peace and blessings to the entire family. Thank you guys for tuning in and being a part of the Real HD show. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Turn on your notifications so every time we have a Real HD show, you too could jump in and have a higher discussion with us. Family, y'all got anything before we want to sign off? Anything y'all want to promote? Anything y'all want to put out there for the people to know about? Any salutations? Now's the time.
Have a good night. I enjoyed the show.
Absolutely.
Good night, Carol.
Indeed, sister. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Come back Monday.
Peace.
Yep.
Don't leave me sitting here by myself.
Peace. See y'all on Moon Day.
Absolutely.
See you guys Monday.
Welcome power.
Okay.